bekannt von der Baal Shem Tov, als dort der wo der Kopf von der Mensch ist, dort nicht der Mensch. There where somebody's machshuvas are, where somebody's mind is, that's where the whole person is. Everybody is the whole year round, everybody is busy with Panusse, mit anderen Sachen. Everybody's busy with their things. But we know that Avodas Hashem is not only learning and davening, but it's all the things that somebody needs to do. It's all Rutzon Hashem. Hashem wants us to do these things so everything becomes Rutzon Hashem and it's Avodas Hashem. But of course the mind needs to be in it. When you do, people are busy in Panusse with the Kop Tavzan, Avodas Hashem, do Hashem Shemai, V'chili, all should be rochniistic. Where do we see where somebody's mind is when it comes to such days which there's no work to do? L'mushel Shabbos and such days like now, people come besmedish to learn. So it's not only to show Lo Lamed Al Atzmoi. It doesn't only show that today you were learning. It shows that the whole year, even when we do other things, it's all Avodas Hashem. Everything is b'kavuna l'Shem Shemayim. Shechanurach in Hilchas Ribbis starts off, is very, very strict about Ribbis, much more than all other topics. In Shechanurach starts that Tzruch Lizur Ribbis, we have to be very careful with Ribbis, and V'kamu Lavin Emriboy, a lot of Lavin, loisesses are got to do with Ribbis, and not only the Malva, the one which lends money Ribbis, like a Ganov is only the Ganov is over, not the person who got stealed from. But here, even the Loive, I feel that the Loive is over Ribbis, and the Urev, the one who's giving guarantee, Eidim, the Eidim are also over, the Eidim who are witnessing the Halvur Ribbis. And the Shach brings that even the one who's writing, the lawyer who's making the contract, is over Ribbis, and everybody who's a salsa, who's a makler, a mortgage broker, if he's making to halvua mortgage, which is, let's say, a lender which is a yid, which there are such things around, then he is also over on Ribbis. With that he's being a salsa, he's being a makler for this halvua, for this loan. And in Sif Bais, the Shechanur says that everybody, Kol HaNoisim B'Ribbis, Nechusav Mismoitetim, Zane Nechusim fallen, he loses, Keili Kufar B'Yetzias Mitzrayim, Ebelekai Yisrael. Very, very, very strong Werte, very strict about Halvur B'Ribbis. So we'll try and speak a bit of Halachas and Ribbis, which I've got to do. There's not so much time, we can't go through all the Halachas, it's loads. But we can speak about a few things. We'll try and speak more things that can come to Ribbis to Oiraise. Well, everybody knows that Ribbis to Oiraise means, Ribbis K'tzitze is, Ribbis to Oiraise means Ribbis K'tzitze. When you give a halvua and you make up b'shas the halvua, that you're going to repay back the loan plus interest.
Plus so much interest?
It doesn't matter how much.
Even if you say what? You have to say how much.
No, even if you don't say how much, if you say that we're going to give interest, you make up that for sure you're going to give interest, is also the Reise. Now, let's go straight to a file which maybe most people understand that it is Ribbis, but you don't always realize it. If somebody is buying a house, let's call him Reuven and Shimon. Reuven is buying a house, and Shimon is doing the whole work for him. Why? Because Reuven can't do it himself for any reason whatsoever, and he is taking Shimon to do the whole, to get the loan for him, with a trust of deed. He makes a trust of deed. Trust of deed means an official way how it can be done, that even though it's what did I say? Even though Reuven is buying the house, but Shimon does the whole thing, and it's called, it's on behalf for Reuven. That means Shimon is buying a house, he's taking money, he's taking a mortgage from the bank for the house, but it is really for Shimon, because Shimon is the For Reuven. That means that Reuven himself, he wants to buy a house, he can't do it himself, so Shimon is doing the whole thing for him. He's buying the house, he's going to the bank to get a loan from the bank for Reuven, with a deed of trust that when it comes the day he can give it back over to Reuven. But really Reuven is the one who's given the deposit money.
And whose name is the mortgage?
On Shimon. On Shimon. With a deed of trust, that means that that's the legal way to do it, that it shouldn't, that's the legal way to do it, that even though it's Reuven's money, it's going to get, Shimon is holding it for Reuven, but Shimon is doing the whole work for the time being because Reuven can't do it himself. So let's make some sums. They bought a house for £500,000. Reuven gave for Shimon £200,000 money, which is the down payment, and the other £300,000 they take a loan from the bank. Now the bank gives a loan with interest, of course. And Shimon is the one who's the loiver, he's the one who borrowed from the bank, because that's how the bank doesn't know Reuven. They know that it's a deed of trust for Reuven, but the one who's buying and borrowing the money is Shimon. So Shimon has borrowed the money from the bank. Now, a person Stamazoi would think, what does Shimon come in here? Shimon is very good for the name, but really it's me, Reuven, I'm the one who's taking from the bank. The bank doesn't know Reuven, he knows Shimon. But really it's not like that, because the bank only knows Shimon and he's lending it to Shimon, so that it's considered as two loans. The bank has borrowed money for Shimon, Ribbis, which that is okay because it's a goy to a yid. But then Shimon has borrowed the money to Reuven, Ribbis. That means that Shimon has lent for Reuven £300,000, and he's for sure expecting him to pay back £300,000 with the payments, which is the mortgage payment, which is interest. So this is considered proper Ribbis Ketitza, because Shimon is telling Reuven that you have to pay me the payments from the bank to pay back the bank. And even if Reuven is paying it straight to the bank, it doesn't help, because he's paying for the bank on behalf of Shimon, which he is the loiver, he is the one who took out the loan. So that is proper Ribbis. Another similar...
The house is written on Shimon's name.
Correct.
So where's the halvor from Shimon to...
Because Shimon wouldn't buy this house. And Shimon didn't buy, it's on the deed of trust for Reuven. The whole... What?
It's on Shimon's name.
It's on Shimon's name, but... exactly, correct. But it's not Reuven's... I'll ask Shala. What happens when there'll be... when Shimon is not here anymore, or when they come to a Torah, come to a Kosher Mishput, when the Dayan will ask, who is the balabus of this house? Who does this house belong to? They will say Shimon, they won't say Shimon. Shimon didn't buy the house. What? Sorry? It's got a deed of trust. That's number one. That's correct. It's got a deed of trust. But even, yeah, correct. It's got a deed of trust for Reuven. Yeah, that's enough. That's enough of an answer.
Is that called a loan?
It is, because Reuven is the one who's asked for Shimon, can you do me a favor and buy a house on a deed of trust for me, and you do the whole work for me. So it's Reuven's house. It's Reuven's house. All the halachas is considered Reuven's house.
And that's called Miyad Liyad.
Sorry?
That's called...
Yes, that's called... yeah. What? Security Shimon is giving, because it's on his name.
He can't give a security.
What security do you mean? What do you mean security?
The loan is secured. If he doesn't pay the loan, the house gets sold to pay the bank.
Yes, correct.
The deed of trust says it belongs to Reuven.
Yes.
So who gives the security? Shimon can't give a security.
You mean personal guarantee or the house?
Who gives the guarantee to the bank?
The personal guarantee?
The house
It's Shimon.
It's not Shimon's house.
Shimon gives personal guarantee. If he's the one who took the loan.
It's a mortgage on the house.
Yeah, so
The house doesn't belong to Shimon, but he's signing the deed. How does he sign the bank?
You can. It works. If the bank, it does work. If Shimon is a loan, if Shimon is the one who took out the loan, then he gives security. He gives the personal guarantee. Why not?
The personal guarantee on his own property is on this property.
Oh, even if it's on this property, but he's the loiver. Let's say another similar another case. If Shimon has a house which he lives himself, It's a paid-off house. Doesn't know anything. Reuven wants to buy a house. Reuven needs a loan. He needs money. He needs money to buy a different house. So he goes to Shimon and tells him, look, you got a paid-off house. You got nothing owing to the bank on your house. Can you take out a loan from the bank, remortgage your house, take a loan from the bank for your house, and give me the loan, and I'll pay the bank payments? Well, that's obvious. Everybody understands that's proper. So that means that Shimon has borrowed money from the bank because it's on his house. He's the one who needs to pay back for the bank. But Reuven is taking care of the whole loan. He's paying for the bank all the payments. He's paying the Ribbis. So this is also that Shimon became a loiver from the bank, but now Shimon is lending for Reuven money. So this is not permitted. It's Ribbis d'oraisa. Now, there is how do we manage? How can we do it ba'ofen heter? That it should be mitter. So there is a way of Hetter Iska. We'll talk about Hetter Iska soon. Soon we'll see that Hetter Iska is not so lechatchila in such a case, but there is a way to do it on a different way, not on a Hetter Iska, which is that on both cases we're talking about a loan of £300,000. The house, but on the first case, the house that she bought to Hafam is £500,000. £200,000 Reuven gave himself for the bank to purchase the house. Another £300,000 from the bank. So Reuven can tell Shimon, I'm makne to you. How much is 66% of the house? That means equivalent the worth of £300,000 of the house belongs to you. I'm makne to you. 60%. 66 is 60. Yeah. 60%. Yeah. 60% of the house I'm makne to you, to Shimon. So now Shimon has bought the house, has bought 60% through taking out a loan from the bank. So it belongs to Shimon. Now Shimon can let Reuven, now Reuven lives there, and Reuven has to pay rent for Shimon. Because Shimon is balabus of 60% of the house, so Reuven has to pay Shimon rent. What's the rent that Shimon wants from Reuven? He wants the rent is the amount of interest that the bank wants. That is the rent which Shimon wants from Reuven, plus put another few charges. We put the insurance on the house and all the other expenses which balabus, boss of a house, needs to pay. This is considered rent which Shimon has to pay for Shimon, and he gives it straight to the bank.
What?
That is a good idea. Because Shimon took out from the bank 60% from the bank. So the money that Shimon is taking.
Oh, I see.
Right.
If he's paying it straight to the bank, how is
because the halacha is that you mustn't pay.
rent? That's what it says.
So he's paying it to the bank on behalf of Shimon. Shimon's rent is going for the bank.
Not on behalf. Well, the halacha is not on behalf of Shimon.
It's
the rent.
the rent for Shimon. It's the rent for Shimon.
Change the name.
Yeah,
So
it's
he's
the rent
paying
for
the rent,
Shimon.
but he's paying it direct to the...
Yeah, okay, because Shimon has got his private, he's got his
He's part of the bank.
bank, needs to pay his bank. So he's paying his interest, he's paying Shimon's interest, which is considered, for even is considered rent. He's paying the rent, which is equivalent, the same amount as Shimon's interest that he needs to give to the bank.
How did he mark him to have a house, a third of the house?
That has to be done. He has to give a kinyan siddur. With a kinyan, proper kinyan, has to be koina. If it's done in the first place, b'shas you purchased, it can be the same way how he buys the house. It can be considered, you buy it like b'shitfus, like every purchase you buy together.
And at the end of the term of the mortgage, what happens?
Oh, no, this is what I want to get to now. Few things. Now, of course, Reuven doesn't want that Shimon should stay a shittif all the time, for a few reasons. First of all, it's Reuven's house; it's not Shimon's house. Second of all, the trust of the. Second of all, the payment, when there's a capital payment, that means slowly after 20-25 years, the whole money will be paid off. Now, Shimon, and what happens when the property rises? The value. There's capital gains, it's gone up in value. Now, so Shimon has become here a millionaire from doing a favor for Reuven. Reuven wants it's his own house, he wants to be able to have the house for himself. So, On this, we can make a separate heskem, a separate shtar, which Shimon is a mischayev. He's being mischayev to Reuven that any time, whenever you want, Shimon is balabus on 60%, but any time you have the right to buy off 60% for the same amount as it was worth b'shas the kinyan. B'shas the kinyan, the 60% was worth £300,000. Any time when you pay me £300,000, you can buy. You got the right to buy it off me. So like this, if the bank loan is capital payment, then with every payment, slowly, Shimon is buying off from Reuven is buying off from Shimon parts of the 60%, till at the end it becomes completely Reuven's. But here comes a very, very wichtige halacha, which if it's not done properly, we can be nichshel again in the Ribbis to Reise. There's a Mishnah in Eisei Neshech. If one buys a house and he says one sells a house to somebody else, and the seller says that I'm making a t'nai that any time I want to buy the house back, you have to sell it to me. A t'nai in the mechira that any time I can buy it back again. The halacha is that this is considered like a loan, and I'll explain why. Because a sale means sold for you and you've got the right to keep it. If you want, you can sell it back. But if I make a t'nai that whenever I want, I can buy it back, and of course, in the time till I buy it back, this person is living in the house or he's renting it out and he's making money on the house, then we consider this that he didn't buy it and he's selling it again. He lent him money and he's taken the house as a mashkin and he's keeping the house for rent income or for himself to live, which is the Ribbis that he's taking because he gave somebody else a loan, and whenever the seller wants to buy it back, he's not buying it back, he's paying back his loan and taking back his house. We consider it like a halvua with a mashkin, and the whilst till he's buying it off, he's using the house, which is considered Ribbis. The lender
is living in the house of the borrower, and he's having, let's say for 10 years, rent free, because he's lent money.
So in this case here, when Reuven is telling Shimon, back to our story, when Reuven is telling Shimon, I'm letting you buy 60%, but you have to let me buy it whenever I want for £300,000. It's mamish this same story. So that's why it cannot be done together. It has to be done, the kinyan, when Reuven is giving for Shimon the 60%, however he's doing it, he needs to do it in a way without any t'nai. That means Reuven has to have trust in Shimon. Let's say if it's somebody in the family which you have trust in him, and you have trust in him, b'shas you give him the 60%, that tomorrow when I'm going to ask him to be zich mischayev, that whenever I want I can buy it back from him, he won't object. But if you take somebody which tomorrow you can say, sorry, you give me 60%, now I'm balabus and I'll do whatever I want, then it's not a good geschäft to do it, because you cannot make any t'nai b'shas you are makna to him, that you should know the t'nai that you let me buy it off you again.
Especially if
so the one
is the rent the interest, or is that Ribbis, the rent?
if in which case if I'm giving it to him with a t'nai that he has to
He was able to pay off the loan gradually.
yes.
Moving from money.
You're talking in the way that we did it correctly. So then the payments is the rent that I need to give. It's Reuven is paying for Shimon the rent on the 60%.
So it's rent.
It's not Ribbis, yeah. Soon we'll talk about Hetter Iska, but I want to first get to another story, and then we'll pick out Hetter Iska and come back to this story. First of all, I want this is clear. This is something which is people also don't know so much. Let's talk about a normal investment. Let's go away from the story of buying a house. A normal investment. We've got Shimon is a big business soicher. He does a lot of business. He does investments for people. He makes money. buys houses and develops them and sells them off, or in any other business sells diamonds. It's a big soiche. Reuven wants to put in money by Shimon to invest his money in property or in any other thing and give Reuven profit. So it shouldn't be a problem because Reuven is investing in Shimon's things that Shimon buys. He becomes a shitov in whatever Shimon is buying, and the income from, let's say they're buying a house, they're buying a property, and Reuven gives Shimon £100,000. Shimon buys part of a big property, and Reuven became a 10% shareholder in this property which they bought. They make development, you sell it for double, and he gives for Shimon £200,000 is okay. The question is, what happens when Shimon says, which is a very common thing, Reuven doesn't know if Shimon is going to, first of all, maybe he might steal him, or maybe things won't go as good, and Reuven wants to be more guaranteed. So he tells Shimon, give a guarantee, you take achrayus, guarantee that this £100,000, whatever happens to it, you'll pay me back. Or even, sorry?
How they should, because if they might make a loss.
They might make a loss.
They might make a loss.
That's correct. So when Reuven knows what Shimon's doing, is usually that's the case which you just now mentioned. We know together what we're buying. Why should? But a lot of times Shimon is a big soicher. Reuven is somebody who doesn't know much with business, and Shimon is asking, persuade. He needs the money anyway, so he asks Reuven, do me a favor. I've got now a good thing to buy. Be a shittiv. There'll be good returns. And he promises him, Shimon is so sure with himself that the business is going to go well, so he tells you should know, the money that you put is guaranteed, you'll get it back in any case. But Shimon is sure that it's because it's a good investment, there's no reason why it shouldn't be. And in such a case, with these words, I'm taking guarantee, it gets switched over not from investment, just a loan. Even though we all know that he's buying part in the property and he's going to be a shittiv like normal, the actual thing, taking achrayus, turns it over to become a loan. And that's Ribbis Deraisa. Sorry? Same idea. Yeah. Guarantee, correct. Correct, yeah. I mentioned even a value from Sachen, guaranteed, versichert, is Ribbis Deraisa. Now here comes the Hetter Iska. When somebody is, of course, when we're talking about somebody who knows what's going on, there's no need of a Hetter Iska. We know what we're buying. We are both the same. Even if I'm a silent partner and you're more busy with it, but I know what you're doing. I rely. I know if there's a loss, I understand there should be. There's no reason why you should have to pay my loss. Then it's okay. But when somebody that doesn't know what Shimon is doing, he doesn't know exactly. Maybe he's taking the money, doing something else with it, and anything. Then he wants to be guaranteed. So here comes the Shtav Hetter Iska. Now I want to try in short to explain how the Iska works, to have an idea what it is. Hetter Iska works that the Iska from the Chazal works like this. When Reuven invests money in Shimon, by Shimon, and Shimon does business with it, normal is that half of the return of the money goes to Reuven, to the investor, and half for Shimon, who is the misasek. He is the one who does the act, who's doing the thing. Even it doesn't need to be like this, but usually, Chazal, this is the way how it used to be. That it was 50%, 50 on this £100,000 that Reuven invested by Shimon, is 50% of the income should go to the investor, 50% to the misasek, the one who's doing the business. So the proper way to look at it is that half of the money is a loan and half is a pekudoin. The £50,000 which the income of £50,000 will go to Reuven is called investment. It's called pekudoin. I just put it by you, but then it has to come back to me. It's not lent to you that the income of this is yours, because the income of it is mine. So it's a pekudoin. I leave money by you, that the income of this money should come back to me. This is called a pekudoin. The other £50,000 is a loan. That means that you get my £50,000 as a loan. So therefore, the income of this £50,000 will be yours, and then you have to pay me back. So it's merze milve, merze pekudin. Now, the mesasik, the one who's doing the work, is working for his loan, but he's also working for the £50,000, which is the pekudin, which belongs to the mashkia. So here comes another little Ribbis Shal, which is not a Reisediger Shale, but another Ribbis Terabunon, that why should Shimon work for Reuven's money? Shimon is working for his own £50,000, which he borrowed from Reuven. But why should Shimon work for Reuven's £50,000 to give him the income of that money? He's only doing it because he got £50,000 as a loan for himself. Because he's going to get half of the income, which is which is from the loan part. So I'm working on the loan, because I got a loan, I'm working for the other £50,000 which I borrowed from Reuven.
Not borrowed.
Sorry?
The other 50,000 is not borrowed.
It is.
No.
Yeah.
So which is invested? Yeah, sorry, that's correct. Sorry. So here, this is a Ribbis Terabunon. So on this, there's an item on the star. You make that if there'll be profit, I get more than the. That means that I'll get the one who's working. Shimon will get extra profit more because of that. He won't only get 50%; he gets something extra. And if you make the star, you can even say, "I'm going to give you £1 for the whole work." Because it's Ribbis Terabun, it doesn't have to be the whole value of somebody who works for somebody else, like he's a secretary for somebody else. You can take even a little money for the actual work that he's doing for somebody else. So this is also put in the star. This is also put in the Hetter Iska. Now, Reuven tells to Shimon like this: you should know that if you lose the money, £50,000 needs to come back to you because that's the loan. But the other £50,000 which I've invested, you can say I've lost it, but you will only be ne'emon if you bring two Eidim Kshairim to say so that they know for 100% that Shimon has lost the money. The Keren has lost the £50,000, and then you will be put to pay. But as long as you can't bring me Eidim Kshairim that the money has been lost, you will not be able to. I will not believe you, and you'll have to pay me. You can bring Eidim, but whoever knows in the business, there's very, very hard to be able to prove that. To know that he hasn't, where's he put the money can be in so many types of investments. To show up that it hasn't gone, that the money is completely lost, is a very hard thing to prove. And then on the revuchim, on the profit from the £50,000 which I've invested, you don't need to bring Eidim, but you're going to have to go to Bezdin, and you're going to have to shvir chamire that you didn't make any profit. That means even though you bring Eidim on the Keren, you still have to, if you say I didn't earn anything, you're going to have to show up. You don't have to show up with Eidim, but you're going to have to shver. You're going to have to give an oath in Bezdin, shveren in Bezdin, that the money, you didn't earn any money. Which is also, normal somebody would not want to do that. Now he tells Mazoi, the investor tells to the misasik, to the one who's doing the work, Mazoi, I'm ready to be pater you from the Shvir, I'm ready to be pater you from bringing two Eidim. If we'll make his pashras, if you give me back the Keren with 5%, 6%, or whatever I expect from you, even though it's very likely that you earn much more, I'll pater you from this. You won't have to, even though I know for sure you've earned more, that would be your profit, you keep it for yourself. You'll be put from everything. If you give me back the Keren, that means the money that I put in, plus so much and so much percent. Now what have we done here? We've come to the same thing, but it's not a loan with interest. It's a hashkua, it's an investment, and he's giving back the invested money plus profit that you made, just because he doesn't want to give a shvir that he didn't earn, or he doesn't want to show with Eidim that he hasn't got Eidim to tell me that he lost the money, so he wants to give me back the investment plus the income, the the pirates, the
So what's
profit.
So the money's like a fee, really, for not taking the shvur. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's
a
a
fee for not
it's
taking
a
the
spashras.
shvur.
I wouldn't call it that. I would say that it is a spashras. A shitfim can make up lechatchila that this is the idea that really and truly I deserve much more. But if you don't want to go into any discussion, don't come to Bezdin, don't get all involved in all. You'll have to show me up and swear to me. I'll give you an option that you can. I reckon that you've earned it, and I reckon that you've earned it. Even if I know for sure you didn't earn it, but you took on yourself to give me to pay me back, but not as paying Ribbis on a loan. It's been an investment, and you're paying me back the investment because you don't want to. Otherwise, you're going to have to swear and Bezdin.
It's like the mission in the Mafkid. What's in the Shalem below what's in the Shalem? So instead of you pass everything, but you don't pay the full.
There's no.
A little bit.
But there's no. Yeah, there's a shomer. Yeah. Similar. Yeah. This is the idea of a iska.
If Shimon loses, he has to pay anyway.
If Shimon loses
If it loses,
the investment,
yeah, does he have to pay?
he would have to bring item. If can't bring item, then he has to pay. Now the reason why here we need item, here we need a shvir, because item is okay. Let's not. Okay, let's leave that. So that's the idea of the iska. Now, what did I want to? Now, what I wanted to get back now is that when we're talking about investment, it's a very good thing. When we even invest by Shimon money to do business, then the iska is very straightforward. It sounds very good. But when it comes to the first story, that Shimon has bought a house. It's a house where he's living in, and now Shimon has gone to the bank, bought her money, and invested by and he bought the money, and Reuven has to pay back. Now, how would you make the Hetter Iska here?
So if you're not using the...
You're not using the money for business.
Not the arrangement you said that it's going to be...
if I don't use that shitfus business, yeah. The first idea was to do this, before we mentioned the idea of doing a shitfus, and then he's buying it off again from him. But if we're talking about if you want to do a different idea, let's say Reuven doesn't trust Shimon. We said that the whole the idea, the way of doing it the first way was that Reuven gives for Shimon part 60% of that. I'm going to the story when he bought a house to live in. Reuven has given Shimon 60% to live in, and Reuven relies on Shimon that tomorrow Shimon is going to be mischayev to sell it back to Reuven for the purchase price. But if Reuven is scared that Shimon just might walk off and say, I'm not going to sell it back for the purchase price, I'm a shittiv and I stay a shittiv here, then it's not an idea for Reuven to do this in the first place. So what's Reuven going to do? He wants a loan from the bank, he needs Shimon to help him, and how can we do it? So he wants to use a iska. Now how will this Hetter Iska work? Reuven is telling to, Shimon is taking money from the bank, that is permitted. Now Shimon is giving for Reuven the money, the £300,000 for him to live in the house. Which investment has Shimon done to Reuven? What did Shimon invest money in Reuven? He did, but for what? Not to make business. Where's the profit going to be? If Shimon would give Reuven the £300,000 to go make business, then he can make a Hetter Iska, and you'll pay me the 2-3% what the bank wants. That's the Iska that I give you money. Even if you earn more, I'll be pater you from the shvur and from the item if you give me back the keren plus the 2% or 3% which I need. But if the money is going into the house, which iska did he make?
Can I just throw in a simple emotion? Yeah. A fellow wants to, I'm going to make a chasana, Bezos Hashem, I need £10,000. So you come on, and I want to take £10,000, I'll give you back £11,000. How? Because my chasana, making a chasana, is going to be an investment. You're going to make money out of my chasana. That doesn't make sense. Yeah?
Now my personal needs, you can't say, there's no profit coming out of that expense. So if Reuven has got some properties, other valuables, if he's got a shop, if Reuven has got something else besides this house which he's living in, then we can say that you're a shittiv not in this house, you're a shittiv, you're investing not in this house, because this house I'm living here, there's not going to be any profit coming out of the house. But your investment in other properties which I am making money on, in a shop, in any other thing that I'm doing, you're a shittiv £300,000 worth in a different property, and then we do the Iska the same way as we did it before. Iska al kol nechusov, it's called, on other things.
The companies need it, Hetter Iska.
Sorry?
The intercompany loans need it.
Yes, it depends.
Or the company is separate.
It depends. You've asked a very clueless question. The question is, who is the share? Who is the balabus for the company? How many things are on the company's name? All these, every detail changes here. Every detail changes. Lots of details in the company.
Is a person. Can you hide behind the company?
There is.
I know.
Yeah, but the Yiddish rule is that when somebody, as the Dayan said, that when somebody invested money in a company, the goyim look at it as if there's nobody there. It's they're lending money to a company. What is a company? There's nothing there. But a pitoira doesn't work like that. The havua is to the emes balabus. In a way, when you buy on a company, things get easier as well, because we look at the emes balabus a lot of times. Okay, this is something which we can share in public. There's all types, there's all details here. We spoke often about deed of trust, because that's the legal way that things are supposed to be. Yeah. So back to our story. So if the person who bought the house got other shops, other things that he's got business, then Shimon can do. But once, if Ribbis is a poor person, he only bought this house, there's no other business or any valuables that Reuven has got. So where did Shimon become a shittiv, and what did it become a shittiv? That's why the Iska a few times has got a bit of a problem when it comes to houses to live in. Whereas the first idea is a good idea because it became a shittiv in the house. Let's speak about one more story. We'll go a bit into a company story. Reuven and Shimon both have a company. They have a business together. Both are shareholders. Two shareholders, Reuven and Shimon. And Shimon brings money from a bank for the business. The business needs a loan. Shimon has got good connections with the bank, and he brings on his own name a personal loan for the business. It sounds very good, but there's a big problem here, because Shimon is only lawyer from the bank, and he's telling his shittiv Reuven half of the loan, and of course that's interest, so that's not a problem. The actual, the keren, let's say about £100,000. So he tells Reuven, £50,000, it's all in the business. The business has to pay £100,000, but what is the business? Half yours and half mine. So £50,000 earnings of the business, which is mine, goes to the bank, and £50,000 of yours goes to the bank. That's okay. But there's also the interest. So it's going to be £60,000 for me to pay, and £60,000 for you to pay. In total, it's going to be paying back to the bank £120,000. So Shimon is telling to Reuven, I'm lending you £50,000, and you have to pay me back another extra £10,000 for me to give to the bank. So we've got the same problem here. Here, there can be a very easy way. Because if the business is a good business, and Shimon doesn't mind telling Reuven, I'm not going to ask you to pay from your own pocket. There's enough income in the business, we will be able to pay back from the business itself, from the income of our company, we will be able to pay the money. There's no need for me to take you personal guarantee to me that if the business is going to go bust and will need more money, you're going to have to pay from your own pocket I'm talking about £10,000. £50,000 you can say yes, you have to pay from your own pocket. The keren, the loan itself, the money, the £50,000, Shimon can tell Reuven you have to pay from your own pocket if the business won't be able to cover it. But the £10,000, the Ribbis part, I don't need from you. I rely that the business itself will be able to pay for the bank. So then there is a way to do it that Shimon tells Reuven, we are shitvim. Instead of you taking 50% of the income dividends and me 50% of the income of the company, let's share it differently. First, I want a bit more than I want to take out more than 50% for my part. I'll give two shitvim can say, I want 90%, you take 10%. Two shitvim puts in 50-50 money in a business. I can say, listen, I want 90%, you just take 10%. Of course, the other person is going to say, no, I want 90%. But a shittvim can be done how to divide profit of a business can be divided in any way you want. Two shouldn't have to make whatever hesken they want. So Shimon can tell to Reuven, the income of the business should be done that I don't want to take just 50%. You give me 60%. You give me the extra money which costs the bank. I'm taking it as a shmai share in the business.
Does it make a difference whether that's the beginning of the shutfus or even the middle of the shutfus?
We have to think about this. And also,
But isn't it because of the Ribbis?
it can be. It can be. What's the difference? And if I've got more expenses in my life and I want to, it's not that I am lending you money by Ribbis.
He's giving the extra share because.
Wait a minute, if two partners, one brings in 100,000, one brings in 10,000,
Yeah.
they can make a 50-50 arrangement?
No, they're in shifus, yeah?
Yeah, but
Normally they're 50-50.
But you
Yeah.
can make...
But because it's £10,000
I bought in more money.
Because of the Ribbis, not because
No, because I brought in more
I
money.
bought in more money. So I think that because I did some extra work which you didn't do. Shitfim can make up every type of. Okay, this is something. I'm just giving an idea. When it comes to the master, we have to. Every story is. I'm giving the idea. But if it's a personal, if the business can't pay it, you have to pay it from your own business, own pocket. Then it's a problem. And here again, the Iska is a bit of a problem because how can Shimon say to Reuven, "Ich mache Hetter Iska mit dir"? They all know exactly what's going on in the business. So how can you guarantee? How can you make that Shimon should have to pay you? That Reuven should have to pay you if he's going to lose out. If there's not going to be any money in the business account. Whereas both of us know quite well what happened to the business. So here comes again that you can make a iska al kol nechusov. That means that if Reuven has also other assets, then he can be a shittiv in those assets. So then this can be done. Sure, I think I'll just finish off with I'll finish off with what we started. That Shulchan Aruch says, "Kili kufar be'yitzis Mitzrayim ebedekai Yisrael." What does Yitzis Mitzrayim Yisrael come here with Ribbis? I mean, I'll say a Pshat Pi Chasidus. The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya in Parak Mem Zayin, Legabe Yitzias Mitzrayim, he says, "Bechol dovado chayev udom liros atzmi kili Yitzrayim." Actually, the solution of Rambam. It's more than we say in that good. Chayev udom liros atzmoi kili hi Yitzim Mitzrayim. That's the solution. And so the Tanya says, the Alter Rebbe says, "He yetzias nefesh u'elokis mimaser haguf v'chili lekolel beyichet o ein sof burechi." As the Yetzias Mitzrayim, everybody has put us to Yetzias Mitzrayim is to go out of the maser haguf of his gashmistige world, to go out of his gashmias, and to be nichlal in the o ein sof burechi, sich meyachet zan yichet Hashem. Das ist doch teure Mitzvahs, befrat, du says Tanya, bekabulas malche shemayim, bekrishme, shebo mekabeli mamshich ulav yichido yispurach, befeirish, bechili. So, the Tanya says that the Yesod for Yitzis Mitzrayim is kabulas malche shemayim. Now the Kli Yukos says that why is the Torah being so strict, why is the Torah so strong, so many lavim against the Ribbis? Because we have to have betuchen in Hashem. If a Mensch geht arbeiten titpanusa, he knows that there's a risk he can lose as well. So he has to be betuchen, he has to be betayach in Hashem, and he's asking Hashem in the Beit Eibishter. When you give money for interest, then you're not having betuchen in Hashem, you're relying on your money, you're betayach on your money because you've guaranteed to get profit without any possibility to lose. And that is the reason why was the Torah so makpid on Ribbis. So the Yichid Hashem, the Tanya redt, das größte Madreiges, alle weißen, der Yichid, les Yachid be'or ein Sofurchi, das größte Madreiges, Medweikes, but I think that minimum is, the first thing starts, betuchen Rebbeinu Shalom, betuchen, betayach sein, der eine bewahrt, as an Ort, der Eibischte allein, there's nothing else. You go out of the master, give nicht anretten, also do andere Sachen, was kennen mir, which can do anything. So no, do ein Rebbeinu Shalom, which hears everything, and sich ein Melvadoi. Meile, somebody who's who's Malva Ribbis, he's poigem in Yetzias mit Kili Käufer Yetzias rein, but Lekai Yisrael was Balfaket. Ribbis, that's what Ribbis is doing. Is began this Madreige von wissen, dass nur du da bist allein und Yetzias Mitzrayim. Now it's the Sedres von Yetzias Mitzrayim. Gules in Yetzias Mitzrayim is doch the Yesod from all the Gules and the Geilles. So wir sollen sagen, solche sein. Sie hang gealt hier eschem aches kereiches. Lies lochem da lekim, lies ke tzedek im hayim menu um.
If someone wants to get some help from the Shiur stories, how do they go about?
There's a number to call.
Something here?
Yeah. And every Sunday from 1 till 2 is the time for
Where is that?
down in the Bible.
Across the street?
Yeah.
Square?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to drink or whatever, the next.
So we'll start the next Shiur in about 5 minutes. Yeah? Coffee break.